Ever feel like fractions just never really clicked for you?
Like, you get the idea,
Yeah, the idea.
but it's not quite intuitive.
Well, get ready because today we're going to do a deep dive that might just change that.
Sounds exciting.
We're going to explore how a website from Singapore uses simulations to teach fractions.
And these simulations are engaging no matter how old you are.
Or your current math level.
Exactly.
I think what's so fascinating about this approach is that it's so visual.
Absolutely, and hands-on.
Yeah, you really get to learn by doing.
Research has actually shown that that's way more effective for learning.
When you can really see it and manipulate it.
Yeah, you understand it on a much deeper level.
So our source today is an educational website.
It's called Open Educational Resources / Open Source Physics at Singapore.
Catchy title.
Yeah, they're all about making physics and math more accessible.
Through open source simulations.
Exactly.
So today we're diving into one of their simulations in particular.
The whole primary math model.
And as you might guess, it's all about this concept of part whole.
Which really boils down to understanding that a whole can be split into parts.
Right, and those parts have a relationship with each other.
And with the whole...
It's like a pizza.
Oh, that's a perfect example.
If you have a whole pizza and you cut it into slices.
Each slice is a part.
And the whole pizza is the whole.
And then fractions come into play when you want to describe how much of the pizza you're dealing with.
Okay, so let's say someone eats 3 slices.
Out of 8.
Okay, so they've eaten 3/8.
The 3 represents the parts they ate.
And the 8 represents the total number of slices.
The whole pizza.
Now, what I love about this website is that it doesn't just tell you this.
No.
It actually lets you see it.
Yeah. Their simulation lets you manipulate the parts and see how they work together.
So you can combine the parts to make a whole.
Uh-huh.
And you can see how different fractions relate to each other visually.
It's so much more engaging than just looking at a diagram in a textbook.
Absolutely, and that engagement is key.
Totally. It really helps with comprehension and retention.
Instead of passively absorbing information.
Right. You're actively involved in the process.
Which leads to a much deeper understanding.
It's almost like learning by playing with virtual pizza.
I love that.
But hold on a second. This website doesn't just stop at basic fractions.
Oh, it goes way beyond that.
You could explore equivalent fractions.
Where different fractions represent the same amount.
Yes, and you could delve into mixed numbers.
Which combine whole numbers and fractions.
Like 1.5.
Oh, and you can even tackle those improper fractions.
Where the top number is bigger than the bottom number.
Like 5/4.
Exactly.
Whoa, so this simulation is like a one-stop shop for all things fractions?
I like that description.
But it gets even better.
How?
The entire resource is open source.
Meaning it's completely free.
Anyone, anywhere in the world can use it and learn from it.
That's the beauty of open educational resources.
They break down barriers to education.
And make high-quality materials accessible to everyone.
Regardless of their location or socioeconomic background.
This website really is a fantastic example of how technology can be used to democratize knowledge.
I love that.
And it's not just about access either.
Right.
This website is really good at encouraging active learning.
I agree.
You're not just passively watching a video or reading.
Right, you're actually engaging with the ideas.
Yeah, through the simulations.
Like learning by doing.
Which is much more effective.
And fun.
Way more fun than just memorizing rules.
So much more fun.
Like imagine you're trying to learn a new skill at work.
Okay.
Or a new hobby even.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be easier to understand if you had some kind of visual tool?
Oh, absolutely.
Something to help you along the way.
It's like the difference between reading about how to ride a bike and actually getting on a bike and trying.
You get to learn so much faster by actually doing it.
And remember it longer.
Exactly. These simulations help bridge that gap.
Yeah, between theory and practice.
So learners can experiment and really gain a deeper understanding.
You know, it's funny.
What?
We always hear about how technology can be distracting.
Right.
And it can pull us away from learning.
Yeah.
But this website is a great example of how technology can actually enhance learning.
Yeah, it's using the power of the internet to make educational resources better.
And more accessible to everyone.
Like we talked about earlier.
It really is amazing to think about the potential impact.
Yeah.
Imagine a student in a remote village who now has access to the same quality of education.
As someone in a big city.
I mean, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it speaks to this movement of open educational resources.
And how they can revolutionize the way we learn.
Yeah.
So as we start to wrap up our deep dive into this resource, what stands out to you most about this website?
Well, for me, it's the simplicity.
Okay.
But also the depth at the same time.
Interesting.
Like, the website tackles a difficult concept.
Correct.
But it does so in a way that's engaging and insightful.
Yeah, I agree.
Even for someone like me who's been doing math for years.
It's a good reminder that even familiar concepts can be explored in new ways.
Yeah, as long as we're open to it.
But I have to push back a little on something you said before.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned that this website is good for learners of all ages.
Uh-huh.
But wouldn't a 5-year-old find this a bit overwhelming?
Well, you're right. A 5-year-old might need some guidance.
Okay.
But the basic ideas are presented in a way that even a young kid could understand.
I see what you mean.
With a little help.
So it's all about finding the right level of support.
Exactly.
Okay, so to shift gears a bit.
Okay.
Let's talk about one of the website's features that really caught my eye.
Which one?
Their approach to equivalent fractions.
Oh, yeah, equivalent fractions.
I think they can be a bit confusing for some people.
Definitely. It's the idea that different fractions can actually represent the same amount.
Right. Like 1/2
Is the same as 2/4.
and 4/8.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They all represent the same portion of a whole.
And in the simulation, you can actually see this visually.
You can manipulate the parts and see how they fit together.
Like you can see that 2 1/4 pieces fit perfectly into one 1/2 piece.
Showing that they're equivalent.
It's so cool.
Yeah, that visual representation really makes all the difference.
It does.
It takes something abstract and makes it concrete.
Understandable.
It really shows the power of interactive learning.
And it's not just about seeing it. You can actually interact with it and test it out.
And that helps you internalize the concept.
Okay, so speaking of things that are really cool.
What?
This website's commitment to open educational resources.
Oh, yes, we touched on this earlier.
But it's worth reiterating.
Definitely.
This website is open source.
Meaning anyone with an internet connection can access it.
For free.
Yeah.
Think about the implications.
It's huge.
We're talking about leveling the playing field of education.
And providing equal opportunities.
To people all over the world.
Regardless of their background.
That's truly revolutionary.
It really challenges our traditional ideas about education.
Yeah, showing that high-quality learning doesn't have to be expensive.
Or limited to certain places.
Right. It opens up a world of possibilities.
For everyone.
And it puts the power of learning right in the hands of individuals.
Which ties back to what we talked about earlier.
About active learning.
With these open educational resources.
Learners are empowered to take charge of their own learning.
And explore at their own pace.
It's just so inspiring to see technology being used in such a positive way.
I agree.
But let's not forget the people who made this happen.
The developers and educators who created this resource.
And made it free for everyone.
Their dedication is commendable.
They've created something that could impact countless lives.
And change the way we learn.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about this website.
And its impact.
But let's think about what this means for you listening right now.
Yeah.
Maybe you struggle with fractions.
Or maybe you're just looking for new ways to learn.
Exactly.
Well, this means there's hope.
I love that.
Even if the traditional methods hasn't worked for you,
right,
there are other options out there.
Yeah, don't give up.
And don't think that just because you're not a kid anymore,
right,
these kinds of tools aren't for you.
Exactly. I'm an adult, and I found this website super helpful.
Me too.
And plus, it's not just about fractions.
That's right.
It's about the bigger picture of interactive learning.
And open educational resources.
So what other subjects could we learn this way?
I don't know, but it's exciting to think about.
So to wrap things up today, we've seen how this simple website is changing the way we learn fractions.
It's engaging and effective.
And accessible to everyone.
Absolutely.
This deep dive has shown us the power of new teaching methods.
And the potential of these open resources.
So here's a final thought for you.
Okay.
Think about something you'd like to learn more about.
Anything.
Maybe something you've always struggled with.
Or a new interest.
And imagine if there was a tool like this, Fractions Simulator.
That let you visualize and interact with those ideas.
What could you achieve?
That's something to think about.
It would be incredible.
Keep exploring and never stop learning.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
It's been fun.